What's up everybody, this is ToD. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the players that qualified for Katowice. He won the Asian qualifier. I'm talking of course about JinAirRogue's Rogue, aka CliMax. He defeated a lot of very strong opponents in the Korean qualifier. He beat Rain, KTZest, Sora, and then Sulky in the finals. The game I want to take a look at here is going to be the quarterfinal that he played versus Zest, and in particular the game on Polar Night. So we're going to be looking at how this guy plays Protosses versus Zerg, or Zerg versus Protosses rather, and why he's been so successful. So let's jump into the replay, and we're going to be focusing mostly on his view and how he reacts to everything, which definitely is going to be interesting here, going up against somebody like Zest, who's had a lot of success recently. So I'll fast forward a little bit in the start, and again we're only going to be looking at his view. So no early pull or anything like that. And first interesting thing to note in this game, he does not send the second overlord to his natural to see if there is any kind of cannon rush. He's gonna send that across the map. So gonna have to keep that in mind, since he's gonna be opening with a hatchery first. As you can see, he sends the first drone to put it down. He's not gonna have much vision, and you'll see he sends a second drone basically to make sure there is no cannon rush going down. He sent it now. And now the overlord almost reaching his opponent's expansion. Yeah, now you see he spots the probe as well. So he already has the drone here. It can be tricky to defend a cannon rush. If you don't have any overlord or drone here, and your opponent puts down pylons over here, 3 pylons, you can put a cannon inside, and then you get displaced cannons. So he's not going to want to risk that. And now you see he sent 2 extra drones down the ramp to help and defend against this. And he does not chase uselessly the probe. He places his drones where the probe will try to lock itself in, possibly. So behind this, not going to go for some kind of third hatch. He knows there's a probe here, so he goes for the spawning pool. And now you realize that this was actually a gateway expand, most likely. So it sends everything back into the main. Just because of the timing on that nexus over here, he knows that there is a gateway, which there is. So pretty nice read. A forge expand at this point would have been much earlier than this, with the timing on the nexus. Now it was like pretty quick, but yeah, was not I think it was like gate, nexus, and then double gas. So knowing that timing, CliMax was able to react pretty well to it, and now he's safe against cannons. He's gonna get 2 queens as soon as he can. He's still droning up. He gets the minimum 2 Zerglings that you need to get, and having an overlord here in position already, he gets the second one towards the main, and he's gonna have great vision. We'll keep an eye on those to see what exactly he tries to look for later on. And at this point, I think he realizes that there is no extra gateways being thrown down here. So he realizes that there is something, probably something else going on. Maybe a Twilight, maybe a Stargate. In this case, we do see it's a Stargate in the production tab. So not seeing any extra gateways here, there is almost no chance they will be going up in the main or anything like that. So he knows he's safe to take the third base very, very quickly. And he's predicted that basically his opponent probably went for double gas, which he did. So just with that one scout over here, not seeing any gates, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to take a third base. And still no gas at the 5th minute. I guess it makes sense since the way he opens. Yeah, he wanted to go for a few queens. He's actually on 2 queens right now, and the third one is going to be started quite late. A little bit surprised he's not starting it now. Starting to have quite a few minerals. How many lavas does he have? Just 1? I guess he just made 9 drones. He's gonna send that one back to the main. So a little bit weird here. He was saving money for some time. Maybe he was a little bit afraid. And yeah, we see he scouts. I'm actually gonna pull back here a little bit to see exactly at what time he sent that. I was focused on the money that he had. He had a bunch of money. Now when those injects were about to finish, you see those 2 injects. Yeah, I think maybe he wanted to see something before he spent his money. Okay, now he started a few drones. This one goes into the main. He saw that there was a probe on the map, but doesn't really mean anything. Didn't do much scouting for proxy pylons, but I guess he can do that later. And now he starts a whole bunch of drones. He saw that there was the double gas, and he sees the Stargate, and the Phoenix started as well. He even poked into the natural with those links. I'm surprised the wall is being closed this late here for Zest. Pretty ballsy move. So he's gonna get out of here with the overlord, and at this point he knows there's going to be phoenixes, so basically in his head he can already kind of start deciding what he's going to do. And I really like that he's sending away his overlords in places that they might be harder to be found at, because you want to make those phoenixes work. You don't just want to stand here and have those overlords die from the first two phoenixes very quickly, because then the harass on the drones will begin from those phoenixes. You want them to really search for these overlords, which usually they will. So I like that he's sending those away and trying to hide them as much as possible. Third queen is on the way, and he started creep threading at this point. Third base almost finished. And still no gas at 6 minutes 12 right now, which it's pretty late gases, but I guess, again, he saw that there was no gateways in the wall for a very, very long time. So knowing that, he's gonna know that there is no really any possibility for a very early on aggression. So maybe that's why he delayed his gases. This one overload is found, and this one is being followed by the mothership core. So because of this is gonna be an easy kill here for Zest. Pretty smart play here, I have to say, by Zest to do this. But as you can see, CliMax, knowing he was safe, he made 1 trillion drones. 10 more on the way. He's gonna go up to 50 or something. And now finally he takes his gases. And we have 1 per base, actually. Interesting. I guess this is gonna be harder for the Protoss to read into this, because you don't really send phoenixes everywhere. They just stay together. So in this case, if Zest sees just 1 gas in the main, it's gonna be like, what the hell? Let's check the expansion, just 1 more gas. And this might confuse him a little bit. So the first pour per base went down, but he's gonna need 2. You need to have 2. The thing is, he wants to delay that as much as possible. Right now he knows that there is not 5 phoenixes yet, there is only 3. So as long as there is 3, having the 1 spore plus 1 queen should be enough. He's gonna do some drones here, but not the end of the world. He knew that was gonna happen. And behind this he's still droning. Lair starts pretty late, 8 minutes. That's not a very, very fast lair, but CliMax is still at it, scouting and doing everything he has to make sure he doesn't get surprised. Good injects on all bases. And we are at the 8 minute 20. He's already got some quite nice worker leads, and he's making 15 more. So let's just say on the economy side of things, he's going to be doing great in this game, just because of the way Zest has played and CliMax has read perfectly into it, which kind of raised a big question mark for me, because a lot of Zergs have been struggling against this Phoenix into Colossus into third base style from Protoss, but CliMax in this game already, he's read into what he was facing perfectly. Now he sees the Robo, he sees the Forge, he knows exactly what's gonna come. He starts Burrow, he has a Link patrolling over here. Chris Spread still going, not the fastest, but very, very decent. And an Evolution Chamber is thrown down here behind the back of this mineral line. That means it's gonna be very hard to spot this. If you're Zest here, you're doing a little bit of flying around. We'll look at his vision. He hasn't seen any tech yet, so he has to be worried. Is it Mutas? Is it Hydralisk? Is it Infestation Pit with Swarmos? So now he's finally going to see the Roach Warren, which, again, CliMax knows that this is going to be spotted. So from there, he can also take a different decision than he would otherwise. So we're going to go back to the view of CliMax. And +1 missile attack starts. And at this point, he's just so well saturated. 70 drones mining. Almost supply blocked here, so he's going to be getting 3 overlords at a time. And wow, actually this is pretty nice place to pick off some drones here. Nicely done by Zest, keeping that drone count as low as possible. He got, wow, quite a few walkers here. And since CliMax had to make some buildings also, he lost a few more. And instead of taking that 1 base over here, he went for the base here. And I really like this move, because this is not going to be spotted anytime soon. There is no way that Zest is going to expect this. So this is going to be hard to harass. Like, you could literally transfer drones there as it's finished, and basically mine from it and have it be pretty safe, because just because Zest, there is no way he's going to see it for some time. So now he made a lot of roaches. I actually want to see, I will go back a little bit. I want to see exactly at what time he started the roaches and how many, and what saturation he had on his bases. So I will fast forward a little bit more. Now he's +1 missile attacks. He gets 3 overlords, you see? He's at 78 supply against 94, but actually CliMax has so much money. This is a little bit weird at this point. He definitely should have had something like a macro hatch, but you see he saved so much of his money, I guess. 25 lavas, so this is upon reaching the drone count, his ideal drone count, 70 in this case. You see he's got 14 mineral in the main, 20 in the expansion, so not the most balanced, but 16 in the third base, and he's got all of his gases saturated. He has +1 missile attacks. He's getting Burrow, Glide Reconstitution, and Speedling, so everything is going to line up very, very well here with the +1 missile attacks. So he saves about 25 lavas at this point, and with the next inject, he's going to make a ton of roaches to try and pressure the third base. So this is a very interesting strategy he's going for here. I haven't seen Zergs really try to punish that third base with quick Colossus from Protoss ever like this. I think maybe Live did something like this, but with Hydralisk, not roaches. So at this point, CliMax, he basically had already decided what he was going to go for. And we will see exactly how that goes in a second. You see he starts 25 roaches with the initial 25 lavas that he had. He's about to get a few more. And everything lines up really well. Burrow, clear reconstitution, Speedlink's going to be a little bit late, but I'm not sure if he wants to get Zerglings with this. I guess it's also a choice he has to make, because as much as he has to do damage with those roaches, he could still drone heavily behind this, going to Aspire, going to Mutas, but no, you see, he goes into Infestation Pit. So I guess he's going to have a lot of options open on how to transition out of this. He could go into Swarmos, I guess, if this goes really bad. If say he meets a lot of Void Rays here, he could go into Infestors, and now there is not many units actually right now out by Zest, and as this will hit, he was not ready. He did not see those roaches coming. He was a little bit out of position, and you see he was trying to do everything at the same time. He was only on 4 gateways. The 2 extra ones were going down here at this third base, and even with the photon overcharge here, there's going to be a lot of roaches ready to do damage, and I think this is going to blink this fast was a mistake here. Zest clearly misread this, and it's just the way that CliMax opened with a lot of drones, played very, very greedy. He made sure he had enough spores to defend against the Phoenixes, and that's what allowed him to get this many units, and behind this to have a pretty good economy, because you see he's ahead on walkers, not by many, but he could go into drones very, very easily behind this, as long as he keeps on injecting, which I'm sure he will. So Hydralisk Dan goes down as well, and I think at this point he's just going to want to look to deal as much damage as possible with his units. You see he's even started a few roaches and Zerglings in the meantime, because he had already kind of decided what follow-up he wanted to go with, a little bit more pressure, which again, during this fight, he's going to have to decide if he wants to drone or get more units, and this looks very scary for the Protoss. Right? It's going to be very, very hard to hold. This many roaches, so he gets in there. We actually have 38 roaches right now. He has Burrow, he has clear reconstitution. There's a cannon right now, but he could burrow behind this if he's really in trouble. He could go back, regenerate his units. That Void Ray actually going to do a lot of work, I guess, because it's only roaches. And you see, he's gonna get a snipe most likely on that Nexus here. He's killing a ton of probes. He's killed actually just one so far, but I'm sure he should be able to kill a few more. He's going mostly for the units here, and I really like that he's able to reset the Colossus count just like he is. Those Phoenixes, they don't even have the energy to do anything because they killed drones earlier. So this is a sweet revenge that those roaches took against what Zest had gone for. And okay, how many? He killed 9 probes in total. He's gonna burrow some links here. Very, very nice. Nicely done. He's gonna force another observer, or actually bring this one back from his opponent. And behind this, CliMax has already decided what he's gonna go for. He actually had started the tech very, very early on with the fairly quick hive, having made the infestation pits. I think that was one of the smartest things he could do behind this roach. A lot of players behind this roach attack would have probably tried to end it, and maybe they could have, but if the Protoss barely holds on 2 bases, then you're in trouble, because they start to get a lot of Colossus, they retake that 3rd base, and you have no transition out of this. But CliMax, he's going to be able to get Vipers, a lot of Hydralisk and Roaches from all of his hatcheries. You see now he's got this one over there, and if he goes for a follow-up attack, Zest just has so little supply in comparison. 49 probes to 70 drones, and already a lot more army supply. So this is a game here. In Wings of Liberty, Zest wouldn't have been in the worst of positions right now. He wouldn't have the photon overcharge, but he would have force fields to deal with Roach and Hydralisk compositions. But this is not Wings of Liberty. This is Heart of the Swarm. So we're gonna have Vipers made by CliMax, and I really don't know how could Zest ever hold from there, because he's behind on army supplies, relying entirely on Colossus to really help him hold and fight against this army of the Zerg. And you see he gets Blink and +2, which again is a good transition, but he's getting those gateways very, very late. He needed them before when he was getting attacked to help and defend. And he even kind of panicked and made a bunch of cannons and it's natural in the same time. So he's going to retake that base, which I understand. There is not much else he can do. Going for an all-in here would have not been good. And look at CliMax. He remade a lot of drones as well. He wants his ideal saturation on 4 bases. He took the gases over there as well. He could even transition out of the next thing that he's going to do, which is the Vipers. So he's getting 2 Vipers as muscular augments is on the way. And if you look at his composition, there's a very good balance between the Hydralisks and Roaches that he has. It's 12 Roaches, 14 Hydralisks, 18 Zerglings. So I would like to see a few additional Roaches, and apparently so does he, because he gets 13 more. I'm a little bit surprised by those 2 drones, but I guess he really wants to have a lot of them mining all the time. He gets an additional evolution chamber as well. And man, this looks so scary. 192 army supply in total. 107 in army, 56 for Zest, and he's gonna go for the attack. Zest, he knows that there is gonna be Vipers, so what does he do? The right move. He goes for High Templars. The thing is, this army is way too small. There is no Colossus in there. He was like, you know what? I know he's probably gonna get either Corruptors or Vipers, so I'm not even gonna bother going for Colossus. The thing is, if he gets Blind Cloud, if there is Blind Cloud used over his army, he's gonna be in so much trouble, and those Immortals could be abducted as well. So right now, he wants to stand behind this area, stay over here, so he can see the units coming in, and he can make sure he gets the feedbacks on the Vipers. But even with that, there is just so much for CliMax that it's going to be almost impossible for Zest to hold. If you look at the army supply, really it's double pretty much. So we have 25 Roaches, 14 Hydralisks, 18 Zerglings, and 2 Vipers about to attack Zest here. And you can have very good force fields, it's still going to be very hard to deal with this. And he actually only has 2 sentries. Those Templars, they're ready to feed back if they have to. And I like that the Vipers didn't just run in there. Oh, he gets actually some good feedbacks. But again, the Vipers, they sort of did their job here to some extent, because they forced Templars very early from Zest, when all he wanted to make was probably Colossus and Stalkers. Having made those Templars, he was able to feed back the Vipers, which was important, but look, he had a lot less army because of this, and a lot less effective army against what CliMax has made. So even though he barely holds in the end, CliMax has traded well enough to go for a follow-up attack if he wants to. He's also kept his opponent low on walkers, because during all this time, Zest couldn't afford to make any more walkers. So now he's like, you know what, the hell, I can start making walkers, but CliMax is on 84 drones, so it's a little bit late to try and come back in an economic game here for Zest. And knowing that, he goes into Ultras, he gets small Vipers, he's getting Chitinous Plating, Carapace level 1, Zerg Missile Attacks level 2 will finish in a second, and yeah, this is just such a great position here for CliMax. He knows around how much there was left for Zest, which was a few Immortals actually, but regardless of that, if he's able to send the Ultras in as a good tank for those Hydralisks and Roaches, there is not much that Zest is going to be able to do. Against these Ultras and this composition, you will need a whole bunch of Archons, a lot of Immortals behind them, and a lot of Templars ready to feed back. Because in this case, again, the Viper, they are going to be able to really present a threat here to what Zest has. So Storm's about to finish, actually, but it shouldn't matter against this composition. CliMax gets in there, good positioning. You see, he just runs in there. He sends some Zerglings in the middle line, but overall, he's even going to abduct those Immortals, which again, they were the only counter there was to those Ultras. So GG is called, in a very well conducted game from start to finish here by CliMax, and very impressive game, I have to say. At the end here, it was on 84 drones across 4 bases, and a very interesting building placement as well. If we look in his bases, actually, you see, like, this is even covered with Overlord, so it's actually pretty hard to harass, but the Spore placement was good. He put some of his production facilities in the main, all next to each other, so that if he has to defend them later on, he can put some spines, or if he had gone into something else. Those Evos here, very, very hard to spot. As a Protoss, when you see no evolution chamber from your opponent, you're going to be thinking, is he all-inning me? Is he going for a non-upgraded unit style? So you have to be worried, and only one of those was spotted, and actually pretty late in this game. So this base, I don't think it was ever spotted too. Okay, it was, but very late as well, and at the time Zest could not do anything about it. So very, very nicely done. And that's gonna be it for now. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments, and I'm very excited to see this guy play in Katowice. I do not know yet who is gonna play. There is a chance he might not even play a Protoss, but considering how many Protosses there are there, I would say it's pretty likely. So it's good that we got to see a little bit what he likes to play and how good he is versus Protoss. So see you guys later.